Nothing waits for a farmer. Not the weather, the banker, the crops. It's never at a farmer's convenience. So when it comes to crop protection savings programs, how come they get to ask you to wait for a rebate? Don't wait for rebates. Get the True Choice offer from Corteva Agriscience for instant upfront savings on crop protection products. Ask your local Pioneer sales representative or your crop protection retailer about the True Choice offer from Corteva. But don't wait.
All right, we are back. It's 10 o'clock. Thank you very much. Look, that game doesn't count. Celtic fans, relax. Don't worry. It's a long season. Trust me on that one. Okay. We are delighted to finish out the week, and we very well generally go a couple of hours whenever we have the WBZ car guys with us. And we're delighted tonight to have from Route 1 Auto Service, Larry Rubenstein and Tony Gagne. Gentlemen, how are you tonight?
Hey, good evening, Dan. Good evening, everybody.
Well, I know it's been a long...
How you doing?
We're doing great, Tony and Larry. I know it's been a long 48 hours for both of you because not only do you have your day jobs, but you were both, as I understand it, out plowing pretty heavily during the storm Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and we were supposed to have a couple of you on, Larry and Scott. Anyway, Larry and Tony, you were part of the troika who comes into the studio when we used to be in the studio. We now broadcast remotely. So tonight, Larry is at his home. Tony's at his home. They're taking their time out on a Friday night to answer any and all of your questions about your car's needs as we head into the winter driving season. So let's get right at it. And I'm going to start off with both of you. What should the average car owner be thinking about? We've just had our big first snowstorm, so our timing is a little off, but nothing we can do about that. The winter driving season is here. What should we be thinking about immediately?
Well, there's a couple of things, and one of the basic things is stay home. Only go out if it's necessary. Even if you're a very good driver in bad weather, it's just not. You got to weigh it out. How necessary is it that you go out and do what you do? Going home last night, I saw four-wheel drive trucks. They were in the snow down in the middle between the left and right sides of Route 95. You hit a patch of ice. I don't care if you have four-wheel drive or six-wheel drive. You're just going down. I mean, so you have to weigh it out.
So they were in the median. You mean they would have been traveling and they were off the road, not off the side of the road. They're in the median.
They were in that median strip, and that snow was very deep, and it would suck you right in. We saw trucks bigger than ours getting cold, stuck in. This type of snow this time just mired you right in. So you really have to weigh it out. How important is it that I go out and do this? And you got to drive slowly. You have to adjust your speed to account because you don't have the traction. A lot of people get stuck, and they don't even think about this. Don't stop going up a hill. There is nothing worse than trying to get your car going when the nose is pointed uphill on an icy road. So
what if when all of a sudden you're going up that hill, and you know that you're slowing down? I mean, that instinct is to hit the brake and try to back down. What should you do?
If you can't make it to the top of the hill, then you need to get over. You need to try to, and your car's most likely going to slide, get over towards a curb, pray you don't hit anything, and just park it. Wait for it to get a little bit better. You don't want to have personal injuries done. But plan that hill. If you're living on the side street and you're going up a hill, and you see a trash truck stopped in the middle of that icy road, and you have to get further up than where he is, you know what? You wait until you have a clear path.
Yeah. Tony, a couple of things that maybe people could still be thinking about. Obviously, the first big snow is here, but all of a sudden you go from 55, 60-degree weather, which is great because your car's not going to be overheating. There's no ice on the road. I mean, it's the perfect driving conditions, for the most part. You can have a rainstorm, obviously, with leaves. But what should they be thinking about? The battery, I assume, has got to be one thing that you got to check.
Yeah, you want to make sure that your number one, of course, your battery. Yes. Number two, you want to make sure that your wipers are properly fitted for winter usage. Number three, for me, is your washer fluids. Make sure that your windows are clear, that you can clear them. Your heat works well. Number four, your tires. You got to make sure that your tires are in good shape, that they are all season or winter ready driving. One of the things that I saw yesterday, especially, I see people they traveling too close to each other. And I was driving into the backside of Everett yesterday, and I saw one little Toyota was too close to the backside following one of the city plow trucks. And the plow truck went and slowed down and stopped. This lady just couldn't stop. And she was way too close, and next thing you know, you see there goes the car sideways right into the back of it.
Really?
It's if you're...
Why? Yeah, I just don't understand why people do that, and particularly you can be on even a major road and you're clicking along. You're going 65 depending upon the circumstances. You're 10 miles over the speed limit, and you have some person, and generally it's a guy, comes up behind you and they just sit on your tail. And the one time I've never seen an unmarked police car pull someone over for that. And you'll see them. I've seen them in the distance. You see someone in the distance, they pull over. The guy then is on the tail of the next guy. He's in the left-hand lane, and he's going to irritate people. I just don't understand why people do that, because you would think that someone who they're going to do that to is going to play the old slam on the brakes trick and give the guy a heart attack.
You want to be prepared for what's going on, and I know that like a storm that come up that we just had. People go out on the road. It's Larry reiterate. I got to reiterate what Larry went and said. If you don't have to go out, you don't go out. But if you do have to go out, make sure that your car is prepared to drive on the roads. Tires.
Okay, here's a real quick one. I'm looking for a tip on this. The other day, my wife walks in and she says, "I got the air pressure light on my tires. It just had turned cold. It was like last weekend." And I know what the answer is, but I want you guys to tell us. I'm sure there are people who've gone out in their car in the last week or so when it really turned cold, and all of a sudden low pressure on your tire, and you think, "Oh my God, I got a leak."
No, with the colder air, what happens is, of course, as the tire pressure goes down, that's going to happen. The tire contracts, restricts. I'm sorry, it goes down, and then as you drive, of course, with the warm, once the tire gets warm, the temperature will go up, and the tire pressure light will normally go out. So what we recommend is that is that you put 2 to 3 pounds over on your tire pressure when the colder weather comes in. That way, the tire, because you're going to lose like 2 to 3 pounds overnight, especially on a cold night like tonight or last night.
So that's not dangerous. So if your manual calls for 36,
it's not. Sorry.
Let me make sure, because again, guys, I want to make sure we're not giving. So if your manual, your automotive manual says you're supposed to have PSI of 36 in each of your tires, you're saying make it 38.
That's right,
Yes.
Dan. And the one thing I want to add to it, and I have seen this confusion even amongst professionals in my trade. Your tire pressure is not what's imprinted on the side of the tire. Your tire pressure is what is posted on the little placard on the driver's door. It'll say what the tire pressure is, because, a tire is going to say to you max pressure 42 PSI. So people think that's for their car, 42 PSI. No, it's not. That's the max pressure of that one particular tire. That one particular tire size may fit 17 different cars. And the proper tire pressure for your car could go anywhere from 29 to 36 pounds. So don't go by what's on the tire. Go by what your car is recommended by the placard on the inside of the driver's door.
All right, all good advice. My guest from Route 1 Auto Service. You guys technically are in Peabody. You're on Route 1 southbound, right?
That is correct.
Larry Rubenstein and Tony Gagne. They'll take your calls. They'll take your questions. 617-254-1030, 888-929-1030. We already have some callers waiting. Folks, we got a couple of open lines. If you get on now, you'll be able to talk to them. If not, you're going to be getting a busy signal because this gets very popular. 617-254-1030, 888-929-1030. Any questions you have about your car, about another car that you're thinking of looking at, these guys are true experts, and they give us time 3 times a year for 2 hours. Larry also does an hour every Thursday on his own. We'll give you that information as well. I want you to be safe as Nightside listeners, and I also want to make sure you don't get ripped off. So if you're looking at a car, at a used car, at a new car, and you want to talk to them about price, you can do that. You want to talk to them about what you should be doing with your car. Your car is now at 50,000 or 100 or 150,000 miles. They know the make of the car, and they know its life expectancy. 617-254-1030, 888-929-1030. And ladies, I'll make it easy for you, 617-931-1030. Let's get to it right now. We'll take them in order. Nick in Winchester. Nick, first this hour with Larry and Tony of the WBC Car Guys. Go ahead. Well, he hit. We said hello, and he hit the wrong button. So what happens there, and now the line is full. That happens too often. People get nervous. So we'll move on to Chris in Rockland. Chris, next on Nightside. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you been, Dan?
Excellent. Say hi to Larry and Tony. What's your question? Go right or comment.
Larry,
Go ahead.
Tony, how are you guys?
How you doing, Chris?
Doing well, thank you. I was just listening and heard you say something about people following too close, and it made me laugh because last night I was on Route 3, and a kid comes up the fast lane. It was probably a 16 or 17-year-old kid driving a brand-new Range Rover, and he was probably going 75, 80, and there was a Stady about 2 feet off the kid's bumper. And he put it to the floor and must have got going 100, and the cop finally threw the lights on, and, they pulled over. I just thought it was funny, though,
Oh, God. Was it a marked or an unmarked?
No, it was marked.
The kid's got to check the rearview mirror every once in a while.
Yeah, you can tell it was the kid probably just got his license, and the cop was 2 feet off his bumper, and instead of getting over, he figured he'd blow the guy, go 100. And
yeah. Well, here's the deal. I hope the cop finally got him, and they should take that kid's license away for about 5 years.
Absolutely, that kid can't outrun a radio either.
Yeah, no kidding. I just thought you'd laugh at that one.
Well, we would. And if the kid's listening, son, if you're 16, 17 years old, come on back in about 5 years, and we'll see if you've matured enough to drive an automobile.
Exactly. You see it all day, though.
So if your father that just bought your son a new Range Rover, it's probably him.
True.
Well, the father should be summoned into court with the kid, and maybe they should impound the car and say 5 years from now, you'll be able to pick it up. That's
perfect, Dan.
I think we got to start throwing a book at people like this because that kid could have killed someone last night, including himself.
Absolutely, they get a four-wheel drive vehicle and they get a false bravado.
Yeah, no kidding. I drive for a living too. I own a truck and an 18-wheeler, and I'll tell you, every day of the week you see stuff out there that just, it's almost, you can expect it now, but it's just unbelievable the stuff people do. They just don't use common sense at all.
I told both of my son and daughter, I told both of them the most dangerous thing you will probably do in your life, unless you really get into some weird stuff, is drive an automobile.
True.
That's true.
Hey, Chris, I've got to ask you a question. Dan spoke in the first segment about people tapping their brakes for following too close. Has anybody ever brake checked you while you're driving an 18-wheeler?
I would have to think you're saying that knowing the answer already, but that's another thing that's expected. I mean, people just don't use common sense. They almost like even on the highway too, instead of, if they're getting over a lane, instead of getting over behind you and then get off the exit, they have to, fly by you and then